Hi guys, I'm going to do a little video today on a plant we all know, fantastic plant, dandelion. So dandelion, I'm sure, is something we're all very much familiar with. It's a dandelion leaf, and here we've got not the best of specimens, but a dandelion flower. And this plant is absolutely jammed with multivitamins and minerals. It's got all the macronutrients, which is the main sort of protein, carbohydrate and fat, and so many of the micronutrients. It's unbelievable. So I'm going to read these off my sheet because I can't remember them all, to be honest. There's loads of them. It's got vitamin A, B1, B2, B3, B5, B6, B9, choline, vitamin C, D, E and K, calcium, iron, magnesium, manganese, phosphorus, potassium, sodium and zinc. And they call it a weed. This is probably one of the best plants in existence, and it's pretty much a global plant. It's spread across the world basically. This plant is really good for muscle tension, stiff necks, and aching lower backs. And one of this plant's major herbal benefits is that it's a very good diuretic. So it helps us get rid of toxicity, which is obviously what we do when we urinate. And it's ironic, isn't it, that when we look at what happens in Chinese medicine, if we start at the Achilles and the feet, right up the back of the calf, what would be normally following the sciatic nerve up through the hamstring, across the upper backside, and then up through the lower back and up through the thoracic, and right up the back of our necks and over our heads, there's two parallel lines either side of the center of the spine, which is basically the bladder meridians. So when we've got toxicity in our body, very often one of the symptoms of that is we get an aching lower back, aching neck, headaches, and cramps in our calf and feet. So these sort of things are like, isn't it amazing when you look at Chinese medicine with Western medicine and knowing what's around where, and what this plant can do for that. Because it's bitter, it affects the gallbladder and releases bile, which helps release toxicity from the liver. It also helps digestion because the bile then breaks down the foods in our gut a lot more efficiently. It's good for the GI tract. So we know now that 75% of our immune system is dependent on the health of our gut. And that's not being addressed at all. So what tends to happen is anybody who's got irritable bowel syndrome, which is basically we don't know what's wrong with it, we call it a syndrome. When that occurs, we usually get medication prescribed to ease the symptoms of it, where it's a dis-ease and the body is screaming for help. So we should really address what's what. And if we go back to the days of the physicians of Madhvai, they were massive fans of bitters. Bitters were really important for this very purpose of helping the liver work more efficiently. And when the liver's working more efficiently, so is the pancreas. And if we go back a minute to the benefits of this as a diuretic, one of the fascinating and amazing things of this, medicinal, or I shouldn't say medicinal, I'd say pharmaceutical developed diuretics, they basically leach the body in most all cases of potassium. So if we think of the heart as an electrical unit that works on the sodium potassium pump, and we'll say that it's not working as well as it should, and we get edema in the lower legs, for example, extremities, then very often you'll be prescribed something like a diuretic to reduce the amount of inflammation and therefore the pressure on the heart, reducing blood pressure, etc. But the trouble with this is it actually depletes the body of potassium. So now the sodium potassium pump is more dominant in sodium. And we all know that sodium isn't good for us in a great number, and that balance has to be right. So this is a fantastic plant. Much better, I would say, much better than medication, and I know it's effective because I actually encouraged one patient to take it for a little while for the very reason of a lot of edema on their limbs. They were already on diuretics, and I advised them that they should probably wean themselves off a little bit from them and just take these. But they took both, and it had a profound effect where they actually felt very, very dehydrated, and they had to basically either make a choice, and they actually then decided to stay with prescribed medication. But this works that well, effectively. It's really good for skin complaints. So anything where we've got like eczema orientated thing, again, helps the GI tract and helps the lymphatic system, helps the immune system. And if you think that most of the skin complaints we have are basically immune deficiency derived. So again, Dandelion is a really, really powerful tool for all of this, yeah. And the other thing I want to talk about a little bit as we go through this is plants, yeah. Lately, there's been so much talk about the about going vegan and vegetarian, etc., because basically animal welfare and the cruelty to animals and all the rest, yeah. But what's absolutely fascinating is that Dr. Cleve Baxter run a test on 2 monkey plants some years ago, and they hooked them up to a lie detector test, a polygraph. And the intention was to light a lighter underneath one of the leaves and see how the plants reacted to it, if they would at all. And just the intention he had of holding the lighter under the leaf and just about to ignite it, the plant started reacting with the polygraph, and it just went crazy, yeah? So all things, plants and animals, all have feelings, but the plants actually are able to read a situation probably far better than most animals. They can, in fact, they can detect chemicals. Let me read it from there for make sure I'm right. 20 different chemical perimeters, and know what they are more than, well, no animal can do that. So it's fascinating. So plants and animals, all of us are all part of nature. We've been encouraged to turn our back on nature as not being as effective as it really is. And this sort of stuff with Dandelion, as you saw with my other two, bringing the blood pressure down and having homeostasis in blood pressure with Hawthorn, fantastic, really good. And we talked about the lungs, where you can use ground ivy as another herb to benefit that. It's something that we need to be looking more and more at. And I think in the last couple of years, it's unequivocal. We really need to boost our immune system. We really need to look at what's around us, and we really need to learn what nature can give. So anyway, there's a meeting on the 8th of July at 7 o'clock in the same place as last time. Anybody who's interested in coming, it's going to be a 2-hour talk from 7 till 9. It's not all talk, actually. It's going to be everybody having their bit to say as well. My sort of angle will be a bit of this, and obviously we're encouraging everybody who comes to have their say as well and see what they think. It's quite an empowering evening. We had over 20 last time, with about 10 people giving their apologies who would like to have come as well. So it could be anywhere between 20 and 30 people. Hope you found it interesting, and I hope to bring another one up before long. Cheers, guys. Thanks very much. Ta-ra.